So, with it being the first time here, so what was your name again?
Robert.
Robert. Michael, just so you know. What do you think your best friend in meditation is?
I don't know, like I say, I'm just quite new to it. When I've cleared my mind, I'm happy.
Okay. Great way to clear the mind, something you'll always have. What's your best friend?
Breath.
The breath.
The breath, yeah.
You've always got the breath. So no matter where you are, if you haven't got the breath, you've got a lot more to worry about than meditation, haven't you?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that makes perfect sense.
So that's how I always start my meditations. I don't worry about doing anything crazy. I allow the breath to bring me into the space where I am, because the breath's happening right now. What do we do before any meditation? Shake it out. So guys, we're about to go into a non-moving state. So give yourself, you've got excess energy from the day, from wherever your body's been carrying it. Stretches, shakes, sighs, yawns, laughs, cries, screams, whatever it is we need to do, just allow that out. Now's the time to alter position if we need to. If we're too hot, take something off. If we're too cold, put something on. Just get ourselves nice and comfortable. And we're just going to do a few clearing breaths. I always like to start just with in through the nose. And don't be worried to make any sounds. Anything that feels natural, allow it out. Let's do a couple more of those. In through the nose. One more now. Now, the first meditation we're going to do is the breath. I've developed a particularly relaxing one. I find that associating the moon with my practice, that energy of the lunar rays. So this is where we bring a bit of visualization in as well. So when you're ready, guys, just drop down the eyes. Just allow the external world to remain there. It's a lot of information to process through the eyes. And just before we start the breathing exercise, let's be mindful of posture. So we can either do this with cross-legged, we can do this in the kneeling position, sitting on a chair, you decide, feel what's natural to you. Start by pushing the sit bones down, the pelvis. This is going to create a curve to the lower back. Spine is long, crown of the head reaching upwards to the sky, creating that length to the back of the neck. But we don't want to be leaning back, so let's make sure the chin is tucked in. We don't want to be using superficial muscles. This allows us to use the postural muscles which can hold you without strain. Also, we want the pelvis to be higher than the knees. So if the pelvis is actually lower than the knees, I want you to get a bolster. Just give yourself that support, and through practice we can start removing it bit by bit. Also, we don't want the knees to be up, we don't want them to be unsupported. This again creates a strain, that's why you're going to get discomfort, we won't be able to sit for long. So if you need to get something to just put underneath the knees, I'd also suggest doing that, or maybe go on the knees as well, do a Vajrasana position, whatever's fine for you. Let's take a few moments. Once we've now gone back into the correct position, pelvis pushing down, curve to the lower back, spine is long, crown of the head reaching upwards, length to the back of the neck, chin slightly tucked in. Don't strain. This is not a test, we're just practicing, so relax into that posture. Maybe even allow the breath a few more times just to bring us into this state of stillness. It's known as kaya stiram. Kaya meaning body, stiram meaning stillness or steadiness. Just come into that body stillness, that kaya stiram. Fully supported now. This breathing exercise, we're going to play about with visualization. So I want you to imagine that a crown, a moon crown, has been placed at the top of your head. Now this is not any normal crown. Once placed on a human being, waves of silver lunar energy begin to spill out of it. Feeling tranquility washing over those tense muscles, Anywhere we might be holding tension, strain, just imagine silver rays gently washing over you from the top of the crown. With each in-breath, the rays become more pronounced, more vivid. And now, on the inhale, I want you to breathe these soothing, tranquil lunar rays as if they were coming up through the root of the spine. And the spine is like a tube. So when we inhale, these lunar calming waves are pulled up to our solar plexus, our center, around the stomach area. And I want you to hold for a few moments. So don't worry about getting this right straight away. Breathe in through that tube of the spine, through the root. Hold for a few moments in the center. And then as we exhale, I want that lunar energy to carry on up through that tube of the spine until it reaches the very top of that crown and therefore transmutes and releases what needed to be released. Practice that in through the nose, it comes up through the bottom of the spine. Hold that lunar energy just in our solar plexus. And then on the exhale, nice and long, we push the lunar energy up and out through the crown. Conscious connected breath. No stopping. Again, inhale. Hold. Inhale. Hold. And up through the spine. Keep letting that regular rhythm of that in-breath, hold, exhale, in-breath, hold, exhale. Just allow those lunar rays, that lunar energy to just bring a coolness to every part of the body. Feel it spreading like smoke. Inhale through the root of the spine, hold in our center, the solar plexus. And now release. Pushing all that tension, all that stress, all that stagnation out through the crown. Just keep playing. No serious energy needed. No tension needed. We feel our mind is taking over. Don't resist. Just start again. Bring the attention back to the breath, back to that lunar energy. Know where we need to be. Nothing we need to do. We already have everything we need in this moment. So let's play lunar breathing. Up through the roots. Hold in the solar plexus. Let it resonate there and spill out. And then use that value, that air, to push it up and out through the top of the head. Any sounds are welcome. Any expression is welcome, but remember to come back to the breath. feel it lightening your load, unburdening you, as the lunar energy washes through where the tension once was. Anything overwhelms you, the outside world, sensations, emotions, thought patterns, don't feed them, don't resist. Just keep returning back to that in-breath, hold, and exhale upwards. I'm just going to leave you in silence now whilst you practice lunar breathing. In, hold, and exhale. Let's just do a few more cycles of the lunar breathing. Allow it to just wash over any last bits of tension that we're holding in the body. Playing a game, no need for serious energy here. In through the nose, it rises. Hold that in your power center. And then move that stagnation up through the spine and out through the crown of the head. Cooling lunar rays. A breath that's here and now in a space that's safe. Nothing to fix. And when you're ready, in your own time, open your eyes and come back to the room. How did you find that one?
Yeah, very relaxing.
Yeah? Because we don't always do visualizations. So how did you find it doing it that time?
Yeah, I've done that one before.
That was actually at the Egyptian journey. It's an ancient Egyptian technique.
I recognised
And
it.
you came to that journey too, didn't you? Did you find a difference between doing it in a hammock and doing it in class?
Yeah.
How about yourself then, with this being the second time you practice that now?
Yeah, I like the visualisations. I find that my imagination's a bit better when I'm meditating than it is if I'm reading or something else. So it
Okay.
works really well.
And how did you find that particular exercise?
I like it. Anything lunar is always good for me.
I never really considered it much, and then when I was practicing that particular technique, because obviously I have to practice it to teach it, I was like, oh my god, I can literally feel that lunar, that silver energy. It's so calming. You got the sun, and that felt like more the yin energy. What about yourself? Have you tried doing something similar before?
Never with visualisation.
Okay.
It's always been about sort of clearing my mind, if you will. But yeah, it's good to sort of see the rays, as you say. It looked more like, well, I was seeing it more like silk than a ray. But
Brilliant.
yeah.
Almost like smoke, that, isn't it? Silk.
Yeah, well, yeah, I sort of often look at the moon like this weird, smooth, silky thing. It's just, yeah.
And what
As
effect did
opposed
that
to
have?
the sort of ray of the sunshine and the heat of the sunshine is more of a sort of smooth energy coming from the moon.
Sister Luna, innit?
Yeah, it's more like rays of silk coming down.
I like Rays of Silk, I'm taking that.
Yeah.
Sounds like a band, doesn't it? So I want us to play, now that was the fun one. We're now going to, not that this bit won't be fun, but I also want us to be very conscious of how time affects us. Some of the enemies of meditation, aversion to how we feel, aversion to sensation, craving for what is not here, doubt, I can't do this isn't going to work, restlessness, oh, I wish I wasn't and drowsiness. So we're going to see if any of these enemies of meditation come in by doing timed. We're going to sit for a minute, I'll time us, don't worry about the time. Then we're going to do 2 minutes, then we're going to do 5. Get rid of this teacher thing of when we're at school and it's a test and I must get this right. We're just being more aware. We become more aware by paying attention. Without the awareness, there can't come change. And that's where we notice behaviour patterns. So what do we do before meditation? We wiggle. We have a shake, we move, we get into a different position. An example of another position, that was Satsana, which is the legs crossed. This is Vajrasana, now knees. You've got a sausage behind you. I know that's not the technical name, it's probably but that's how I see it. But for those who are at home, by the way, it's one of those yoga bolsters that's like a tube. But make sure we're comfortable. Remember the posture, always remember the posture. I always like to close my eyes down when I'm going introspectively. Gets rid of that visual data, it's a lot to process. So when you're ready and you're comfortable, close down the eyes. Next in, let's bring in posture. We want the sit bones pushing down so we can feel a natural lower back curvature. Spine is long, creating space for us to breathe. Crown of the head reaching towards the sky. Length to the back of the neck. Slightly, don't go overboard, just slightly tuck the chin in so we feel that alignment. Hips higher than the knees, knees supported by bolsters or the ground. Then relax into it, let those shoulders drop, let that tension drift away. Now, Anapana is my most powerful breathing technique. It has no razzmatazz of the lunar breathing. It is as simple as we watch the breath in through the nose, we watch the breath out through the nose. We don't try and regulate. If it's shallow, we allow it to be shallow. If it's irregular, we allow it to be irregular. This is accepting reality on its terms. Getting rid of that yang energy of needing to control the situation. Just watch, nothing else is needed. The nostril, inside the nose, and just above the upper lip. That's our focus. We're sharpening the mind by doing this. So just watch that breath in through the nose, out through the nose. We're going to go into phase 1. Phase 1, we're just going to watch for a minute, but be aware of aversion to any sensation, any sounds, anything happening at all, a resistance. Be aware of any craving for something that isn't in this moment. Be aware of doubting yourself, doubting the techniques. Be aware of restlessness, itches, tickles, discomfort, impulses to move, and be aware of drowsiness. If drowsiness comes in, just breathe a little heavy through your nose for a few moments. That'll bring you back into this moment, and that's it. Your job is just to keep coming back to the nostril breathing, note the enemy, come back to the nostril breathing. We'll now begin the first minute of timed meditation. And we'll remain in silence whilst we do this. Back to the room. How did we find doing a minute?
Went really quick.
Really quick, yeah. That was a minute. I remember struggling to do 2 minutes, so the fact that you just did that and it was so easy? Yeah, fairly
it was
easy.
a lot less than a minute.
You definitely, I told you guys are pros. What about you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Quick.
Now, do you remember when you first ever meditated? Could you have done a minute and thought that went quick?
No, it seemed to take forever.
So there's a bit of improvement already from when we first started. Now, same thing again. We're going to double it. 2 minutes. Again, we're playing a game. We're just becoming more aware of our relationship, and this is when behaviour patterns become more visual to us. We start to notice things. I have a change when it's double the amount. So, guys, shake, 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 swiggle, 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 whatever we need to do, scream, shout, cry, and then drop down the eyes. Now, make sure posture isn't being forgotten. And we'll do 2 minutes silent anapana watching just the nostril. When we're ready, guys, in your own time, come back to the room. How was 2 minutes? Did we notice a difference?
Yeah, a few more thoughts going on there.
Any enemies coming?
I guess just a bit of mental restlessness.
Okay. It's important that she mentions that. It doesn't just mean that you want to move. The mind isn't quiet. That speaks that the mind is a defense mechanism. It's trying to figure something out. We don't feel safe in this moment. The longer it's gone on, the more the mind's going, we're not used to being still this long. What about yourself?
Again, I was getting some sort of visual things that I was focusing on.
Okay.
So we're very faint, but patterns and like it all just merged into a bit of
So
a very faint rainbow. I was focusing
Be
on.
mindful of those. We're only focusing on the nose, right?
Yeah, I kept on
Yeah.
thinking, just focus on the nose. It was alright, but yeah, it was pulling me away from the nose.
So that's why your nose is your best friend. You in a traffic jam, you're having an argument, I'm working out. It's just as overwhelming as any visuals or any thought patterns. It's okay, start again. That's meditation. We can't meditate without the distraction. The distraction gives us a chance to practice. What about yourself? How was 2 minutes?
Yeah, like you say, drifted away a couple of times. Yeah, okay.
Smile. Every time you notice you get angry or irritated that you haven't been perfect. Okay, there's a little realisation of how I treat myself, but back to the nose. That's just a note. We're not investigating, just a note. Now for the fun one, 5 minutes. 5 minutes see how your mind, just knowing that it's going to be 5 minutes rather than 2, see if that plays a part. See if how many patterns of behaviour arise. But also, only, I was like, oh, there's that, come back. Not, oh, there it is. Let go of the judgmental, the analytical mind. We're not solving any problems. We're understanding our relationship to stillness. Kaya Stiran, body stillness. Strong determination. We get a tickle, we get discomfort. I promise you, in 5 minutes you won't die. So, when we're ready, guys, wah, whoa, he, wah. Let's drop down the eyes. Remember, it's a game. Tiny meditation game. Get into posture. Make sure we're ready. I'd probably lift my head slightly up. Just slightly up. So it's like a bit more, there you go, a bit more aligned. There we go. Right, let's begin. In your own time, guys, come back to the room. That phone wasn't far off warning us. How did you find doing 5 minutes?
Yeah, okay.
How was that compared to a year ago, before you started coming to classes?
Sit still for that long.
Because it's quite impressive, like we forget, like I remember my old therapist, I'd go on about the next problem I had, the next problem, and he's like, it's like watching a guy driving off, but he thinks he's stuck at the lights. You've gone so far, but you're not realising everything you've done. So tell me, was there any enemies that came in?
Just thoughts again.
Restless mind.
Yeah.
And it's not about resisting them. You're going to give them energy if you do. Notice, what does a restless mind mean? It means it thinks it's a problem to solve. Come back to a breath that's here and now, where there is no problems. Mind can go to infinite realms, body can only do what it's doing right now. That's what the breath brings us back to. How did you find doing 5 minutes?
Yeah, there's a lot more stuff creeping in. A couple of times I was thinking, I'll go back to, why the nose gone?
It's when it was gone. Body dissolution. Kayat Sarg already, eh?
Yeah, I was thinking, is that, and then I breathed in, it's like, that's where it is, it's right where you breathe in.
Just practice. It's all it is. Do you know what? I have a very restless mind. It's high processing, so when I'm trying to go to sleep, I'll spend like half an hour just meditating on, and it's just using it as an opportunity. And like posture, people, how do you do that? And I'm like, well, when I'm eating my lunch, when I'm watching TV, I purposely make sure that I'm sitting right, because then I'm doing it all the time.
Yeah.
And it becomes natural then. What about yourself? How was 5 minutes?
In a way, a bit more effective doing it for longer, but
Okay.
I did find myself concentrating on the sounds outside, or like before, just thinking of random things. Yeah.
Now, you might notice I don't put music on while we're meditating. I'm not trying to bring a state of calm to you. That's a byproduct of processing where we are. Don't go in trying to be funny or trying to be sexy or trying to be this or that, because if you're trying, you aren't it. So to be calm, you must process. Calm will come as a byproduct. Music, the reason I don't have that on, that takes you out of the internal. Whereas music is external, where those sounds are external, So it's just showing what power that has over you. Come back to the nose, start again, come back to the nose, start again. Now I told you the 5 enemies, but there are 5 best friends as well. I want you to have a think next class. Come tell me what you think they were, okay?
Can I sneak a look at your home?
You can take a sneak, take a sneaky peek. Right, so we've done the more challenging-ish. Like for me, that I would up that. The point of these classes, for everybody watching at home, for you guys who are here, is to take what we're learning now and practice it in your own time. To empower you. I don't believe in you need me. You don't need me, I've taught you, now go practice. So just see how long, maybe turn it into 10 minutes, maybe see how, I do an hour. An hour's interesting. I'm thinking I might do a video, because obviously an hour video of me sitting still is quite boring, but if I give you a voiceover of what's happening to me in that hour, even me who's been practicing for many years, mind, body, wish that wasn't there, chest, all these things come in. So the next one we're going to look at playing is bringing archetypes into play. What we mean by archetypes, a king would be an archetype, a queen, a warrior, a lover, a magician, a witch, whatever it is, a wise man. But an archetype, but I want it to be specific to an perceived issue. I'm going to do that, perceived issue. It's a life situation. We've created an issue by creating it an undesirable, but a situation that we'd like help with from higher power, a higher archetype, a higher energy. So when we're ready, guys, change position. The time is now. Whatever you need to do, if you need to, by the way, that wasn't a command.
Yeah, it's like this foot here, I noticed like that they keep on taking me away. Like,
So
is my foot sore or isn't it?
Little tip for you:
Yeah, it is,
if
yeah.
you're going numb, any numbness means that you're over falling onto a certain area. If I was numbing that leg, I know I'm leaning that way. So numbness is actually a fantastic guide into I'm overcompensating. So just slightly adjust. If it's pain, it's either an underlying issue you're probably already aware of. You know, if I injured my foot, it's probably going to work when I sit on it, so change position. But also, it can be a point that we're completely in the wrong posture, and it's causing the superficial muscles to strain over time. It's going to cause pain.
Yeah.
Otherwise, guys, when you're ready, get ready. by shaking it out, shouts, screams, cries, wails, whatever it is. Then, after that permission of movement, to go into a permission to be still now. It's okay, body. Nothing to do, you can relax. It's okay to relax. Posture first. Sit bones pushing down. Lower back is curved. Spine is long. Crown of the head reaching upwards because we're getting a length to the back of the neck. Slightly tuck the chin in, don't overcompensate. We want to feel aligned. Knees lower than pelvis. Get support if you need it. And then make sure the knees are supported. We do not want them to be up and strained. After that, relax into that position. Stable, strong, like a mountain, a breathing mountain. Ritualizing mindful breathing as the first thing we do because that brings us into this moment. So just watch the Anapana or the Lunar or any other breath work you desire. We're just going to do that for a minute or two. Drop into the space. I also want you to bring in strong determination for Kaya Stiram. For those who can't remember, Kaya Stiram means body stillness. If we're constantly moving, we aren't allowing ourselves to be here and now and allow what needs to be processed. This creates space for expansion and growth, for what needs to be held for a moment in consciousness to be held. Stillness, Kaya Stiram. A tickle is just a tickle. An itch is just an itch. You are not sensation, they will pass. Anicca. It will change if we allow it to pass. Just allow that breath to bring us into the here and now, a safe space. And then just allow the breathing to go into its easy, steady rhythm. No need to focus on the breath. As we shift our attention, our awareness, I want you to just ask the mindful inquiry, what needs my attention? But don't try and answer. Allow that mindful inquiry just to flow in your consciousness. Yes, we can note a behaviour pattern that we feel a need to answer. It's not important right now. Just allow that to become more and more surrounded by your attention. What needs my attention? Maybe it's something perceived in the future. Maybe it's something happening now. Not important. Just let it rise naturally. Create space for it to exist. Only come back to the breath if we get truly lost in thought, emotion, sensation, or the outside world. Come back to the breath, let that anchor you here, then come back to the mindful inquiry. What needs my intention? What needs my attention? And now, again, allow it to come to you. Trust your intuition. What archetype, what energy, what way of being do I believe would help me in this situation, whether it's future or now? Don't go thinking. Allow it to come to you with a king energy who's organised, here to serve others, or a queen. Or maybe it's the warrior energy, Maybe there's action needed. Maybe we need to be decisive. Maybe it's the lover of sensation, the lover of connection. The magician, the witchcraft. Where that esoteric knowledge, maybe we need to research, understand how to channel energy, nature, or anything. Could be anything at all. Just bring that archetype, maybe visualize it to start with, just in front of you. How does it feel? Does it feel strong? Does it feel wise? Does it feel resourceful? And just relax into it. This is not us trying to solve life or death. It's us playing with archetypes. Feel the energy of that archetype. Create space through stillness. Maybe they have a face, maybe they have certain ways they're dressed, certain colours. Just feel them. And the right one will come to you. Trust your intuition. Now, imagine becoming them. Imagine that archetype being breathed into every cell in the body, taking over. Does our posture change? Does the way we feel change? And still, don't worry about any answers. Just feel this archetype, this eternal energy that is in all of us. We only need to feel, witness. Just become accustomed to how it feels in the body. What power does it hold? What insight? Now, allow that mindful inquiry to come to the archetype you've embodied. What needs my attention? What was it? Again, don't try and speak for this archetype. Allow it to digest the question. Give it space. And in this stillness, I'm going to create a space of silence for you. Maybe it speaks to you in this moment, maybe it doesn't. But just trust. Let doubt slip away. Make sure we don't become identified. This is only an archetypal energy that exists without us or with us. It is not you, but it can be channeled within you. Don't confuse yourself for a king or a queen or a warrior. But allow it to bring wisdom of insight. Maybe even just that feeling that it brings with it. As if you were it, but not it. And now release it back into the ether from which it came. Don't stress about anything you may have been attached to, any results, any expectations. Just let it go now. Surrender it back to the void. Maybe wiggle the toes, wiggle the fingers, just to bring ourselves back into this moment, this room, this space. And in your own time, open your eyes, come back to us. So how are we doing? How was that?
Different.
Yeah? What came up for you?
Nearly the last minute. A
What?
water nymph.
Pardon?
A water nymph.
Oh, a water nymph. Nice. And you don't have to give us any details that you don't want to share, but is there anything you'd like to share about the experience?
I just wanted to flow around obstacles instead of butting heads with them.
Yeah, nice. Flow around the obstacles. Like Bruce Lee. What about yourself? How was that for you?
When we were sort of visualising the archetype, all that kept on coming up for me was a tree.
Okay, brilliant.
Just a massive tree.
What was the tree representing? How did it feel?
It was just, it was in a woodland. It wasn't on its own, obviously, but yeah, it was just this huge. I don't know how to describe it.
No worries, no worries. It's only so I can understand how the exercise was for you.
Yeah.
Did it speak to you?
No,
Not words, just more more how it felt.
Yeah, it obviously it made me feel really comfortable.
Brilliant.
But I do spend a lot of time sort of walking through the woods, doing foraging and whatever, and tend to see trees as being these big, massive.
Wise.
That we've got,
yeah, ancient, still, even when the chaos of the world, the weather, whatever it is, still. What about yourself?
Went to another session here recently where somebody had a pack of those, I think they're called moon cards.
Okay.
I pulled those, so I embodied the one that I pulled, which was the king, not a queen, funnily enough.
Well, that's important that you say that. We all have masculine and feminine energy within us. Go on, sorry.
Yeah, so that was quite interesting to carry that on forward, and yeah, I think it worked quite well.
And you can do that whenever you want. These are just archetypes. The problem is the king who thinks he's king energy. You're just a mortal man who happens to be in king energy, which is serving others, stable structure, the warrior. You know, just calm down. You're not the warrior. Don't go hunting and killing. But what does the hunter, the warrior, represent to you? Feel it. Even if no answers come, just how did it feel? You can embody that whenever you want. If you felt it was within you. It was an energy you can channel because you are connected to that infinite consciousness. For myself, what was coming up was the magician, the esoteric knowledge, the wizard. Felt very wise because I'm teaching, probably.
Yeah.
Very wise. Be wise, Michael. And don't get attached to results. This is a game that we're playing. We're understanding these archetypes. Anything can come up, and maybe we can channel it. I've had the dragon come up in ceremony. Powerful. Anyone came in then, oh, good luck to them. I was a dragon in that one. It's very good to play with. So we're going to finish it with the three ohms. You heard of them?
Yeah.
Just for those at home and yourself, if you're not used to the pronunciation, it's actually Om. So it's A-U-M. If you can imagine, it's known as the universal sound. It's meant to be the first sound that there ever was. When there's a big bang, and the rest come from that. So it's a universal sound. But also we're going to say Shanti 3 times after it. So Om, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti meaning peace. Say it 3 times. Peace for the past, peace for the present, peace for the future, universal peace. So when you're ready, guys, let's just do one cleansing breath. And then in through the nose and follow my lead. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you for coming to meditation with Michael. Appreciate it. As well for you, my friend. And if anyone at home, if this actually did record, with me the first time, I have a belief that it's not just about the meditations, it's about creating a daily practice, creating it as a habit. So we've created these. It's basically got months and days. If you at home want it, you can ask me for the PDF or whatever it is, Excel, and I'll send it over to you. But it's called Not Breaking the Chain. Don't know if you've heard of it. If we spend just 2 minutes, so it's a 2-minute rule. 2-minute rule, it's not overwhelming. We can do 2 minutes, right? We all did it today, it was easy enough. We put a cross, and we try and create a cross for every day going forth. It's okay to fall off, we're always going to fall off, it's bound to happen. It's not the first day, it's not the second day, not even the third day necessarily, it's when we start falling into 4th, 5th, 6th days of not doing it, we create a habit of not doing it then. So this just keeps that mindfulness, maybe put it up. And another thing I like to do is write my why. Why am I meditating? Not a big long sentence or a paragraph, just one word that describes the sensation you're after. For me, it's peace. The sensation of peace. Some people say tranquility, calm, or maybe it's liberation, whatever, but a sensation, one word. And when the what that goes to threaten this chain comes up, tiredness, got too much to do, can't be bothered, whatever it is the why more important than the what? Inner peace more important than tired? 2 minutes? Yeah. Do you see how that might help?
Yeah.
So that's from Atomic Habits. I recommend checking that out. But otherwise, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Half a clap there.